She got the moon and the stars, Mercury and Mars, Venus and Neptune, feel it in your heart. And it's time for Star Slander.
Hello, it's Danielle Mercurio, and welcome to Pisces season. I am about to give you the lowdown into what it is that you can expect, what the energy may be like for you, and how you can best move forward in these times. And one thing that I want you to realize is the forecast, the astrological components that we mention are for everyone. So, yes, we are in Pisces season. The sun has moved into Pisces and it will be there until March 20th. And you may be thinking, well, I'm not a Pisces. This doesn't matter. It does. Okay. So, disclaimer. Pisces season is for everyone, and all the different transits that will be happening is for everyone too. We all will just take to it differently depending on what is happening in our chart. So if you have a lot of Pisces influence in your chart, of course you're going to want to listen a little bit more closely because Pisces is your jam. This is your season. However, if you're not super adapt to Pisces energy, then you especially also want to listen so that you can learn and you can best step up and show up during these times. So Pisces season officially started on February 18th when the sun moved into the Pisces sector of the Zodiac wheel. And Pisces in general, for those of you that are new to the sign, it's the fish. So the fish they're kind of butting heads. So there's these two fishes that are butting heads, and they don't realize that all they have to do is turn the other way and they can swim freely and they can go wherever it is that they want, and they have complete freedom. And that's really what Pisces crave. I always have said that Pisces were born ready to retire. Piscean energy is about creative freedom, is about the ability to move and do anything at a moment's notice, the ability to get up and go if they want, the ability to not be tied down or locked in or boxed in any kind of capacity if they don't want to be. And so it's really important that in this Piscean time that we kind of step into this notion of, if I could go anywhere, do anything, be anyone, what would that entail? What would that fishtail? Okay, a little Pisces joke there. So essentially, Pisces also governs the notion of the 12th house and the planet Neptune. These are both very spiritual ideologies. They both govern the space of illusion and higher self and seeing things from an even broader perspective. It also governs over the notion of religion and how we view metaphysical studies, how we see different ways that we view our God, higher source, universe, whatever we want to call it. And so this is an opportunity where I always feel during Pisces season we're closer to the heavens than ever before. And it's also, the end of our astrological year. So the astrological year always ends on the last day of Pisces season. And I feel like, we just spent 365 days making a trek around the zodiac wheel. And so by the time we get to the end of the wheel, I do feel that, we are closer to the heavens. We start out, being born on this earth in Aries, little babies, and learning how to become better humans on this earth. And by the time we get to the end, we see that there is so much we don't know and so much we are connected to that is greater and bigger than us. And the heavens and spirit and source just feel a little bit closer to us as we reach the end of this astrological journey. So a bunch of different things are happening during the season. Right before Pisces season, we entered into a Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury retrograde is when the aspects of the planet Mercury is the planet of technology, communication, transportation, our mind, take a reverse motion. And so anything that Mercury governs may have a redirect or may have a different effect on us. And that is why Mercury retrograde is known for the period of time when computers shut down, where there's miscommunication, where things go haywire, when our phone doesn't work, when the text didn't go through, where for me, for some reason, water has been a theme. My sink exploded on me. My Berkey water filter flooded. So, Mercury retrograde in Pisces, my friend. It's a slippery, uh, wet mess. And, at the same time, though, it's a really cool opportunity for us to look at things differently. And it's a period of reflection. What I love about Mercury retrogrades is that I automatically know that I'm going to create more space because the energy is a little bit more wonky. I want to make sure that I'm not maxing out my schedule. I want to make sure that I'm priming myself to be as patient as I need to be. And because of that, I get a lot of space. And I get to use that space to, maximize my home. I've already done some purging and just reorganizing. I've been sitting down with my business and some goals I have there. I've been relooking at some of my physical and health goals, even dating and the perspectives I have around that have all been kind of brought to the surface because I have the room for it. And that's why I really like Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde will be happening in Pisces until March 4th. And then on March 4th, it will, because what's happening is the planet is going in reverse. It's going to keep going in reverse until it lands in the sign before Pisces, which is Aquarius. And so then it'll be Mercury retrograde in Aquarius until March 9th. And so when it shifts from Pisces to Aquarius, I think what's going to happen is we're going to take all of the kind of space and the dreamy illusions that we've kind of come to. We're going to see where the veil is thin and where maybe certain people or situations in our life just aren't necessary anymore. We're going to see where we could use more freedom. And I think when we shift into the Aquarian piece of this retrograde, we'll be able to better assess where our newfound ideas of independence can be best brought to the surface, can be actualized, can be directed into reality. I think we're going to have even more of a perspective around how we see things and why, and almost like, I think the Mercury retrograde in Aquarius is going to be that moment where we see beyond our blind spots and we connect the dots and we have those aha moments of like, oh, that's why I was choosing to believe that before, or that's where I was sabotaging myself, or that's where I was letting that person have a hold on me, et cetera, et cetera. And it'll be a nice way to kind of wrap up this Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, though I will say technology will probably be at its worst in that window. So really be mindful. I really would hesitate launching during those last 5 days of Mercury retrograde, doing any really intense back-end work. Just use that space to just kind of meditate, be physical, move your body, be around friends, be around people that make you feel good, and know that there's plenty of work to be had when you get back, when the Mercury retrograde goes direct. Because what happens is as soon as Mercury retrograde goes direct, we're going to have a juicy full moon in Virgo where we can start to implement everything we gained. Before we talk about the full moon in Virgo, you following me? Let's go back to the new moon that will be happening in Pisces. So on February 23rd, the new moon will be in Pisces. The new moon is always in the same sign as the sun season. And so having this new moon in Pisces while we're in the midst of a Mercury retrograde is going to be really juicy. I already just said juicy, but I want to say it again. And there's another word I want. Really playful and really freeing. It's going to be that new moon where it's kind of like mom and dad are out of the town. What are we going to do? Let's throw a party, right? Parents aren't home because everything's on a little bit of a hiatus with Mercury retrograde. This new moon in Pisces gives us permission to just play, to just be like, okay, like teacher isn't here today. We have a sub. Like, what's going to happen? Let's watch movies, like remember when that would happen? What would life look like if you could like play hooky just for a little bit, just for a day or two. And so I want us to use the new moon in Pisces in this way because it gives us a little bit of perspective. It allows us to lean back from our everyday life. It allows us to remember what feels fun, what feels good. It kind of brings us back to a little bit of that childlike innocence. It lets us be a little bad, which, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. We've been conditioned around what is good, what is bad, what are the rules, what is allowed, what isn't. And, what's going to happen with this shakeup, with the new moon, it's like redefine your own rules. But the only way we're really going to understand what our new ruling is to be a little rebellious. So what does the new moon Pisces rebellion look like for you? Something to think about over the next day or two as we lead up into that. And a key piece leading up into that is actually on February 20th. So on 2/20/2020, we have Jupiter, which is our planet of luck and prosperity and expansion, doing a sextile with Neptune. And as I mentioned before, Neptune is our dreamy planet of illusion. So right now, Jupiter's in Capricorn, which is still reminding us to, like, when it comes to our money and the way that we're expanding, like, have goals, keep structure, like, keep your eye on the prize. And then we have Neptune, which is in Pisces right now, which is like, have fun, do whatever you want, be free, go meditate, be woo-woo, play with your angels. They're going to make a sextile. And what I think is really awesome about that is I think it's going to be a really beautiful setup to the February 23rd new moon. So 2/20 is the sextile of Jupiter and Neptune, which is really going to open up a new pathway to the way that we go about the things that we're working really hard on, right? The things that we're working really hard on can be fun. You know, those people that are like, it doesn't feel like I'm working a day in my life. It's like that energy, right? Or it's like, I can't believe I wake up every day and I get to do this. I can't believe that I show up to the office and this is what I get to create. I can't believe that this is my life. That's the energy that's coming to form on 2/20. And the new moon is an opportunity for us to step into that even more 3 days later. But we've got to be a little bit of the rebel, and we've got to be a little bit of the innovator, and we've got to be a little bit of that one that's like, I'm going to just like do whatever I want. And like, boss is out of town, and see what happens. And then use the rest of the Mercury retrograde to implement it, to let it set in, and then go from there. But we're really starting to realize now more than ever, especially over these next 2 weeks, is that we have permission to do what our soul has intended for us. And there may have been a period of time leading up to this year where that didn't feel possible. While your soul may have said, yes, you have permission, the outside world said, hell no, I don't think so. Or yeah, you can get to that, but first you have to get to this. The outer world was always the first on your to-do list. The outer world was always a priority. Whereas now, you're like, oh wait, I'm going to start shifting these items up on my to-do list a little bit more. How you like that? Okay? That's what's happening. This is your time where, like, you really are getting permission to go for it. And I'm not saying that you have to do everything in this moment, but you really need to get your energy around it. And you really need to know that you are allowed to do this. And you really need to understand that, like, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's happening. And it's happening every day, every minute, every second, for you, by you, through you. So, and it's also, connected to this fact that we're getting to the end of the Zodiac year, right? So it's just like, no more am I like going to let myself be conditioned by what everybody else is telling me to do, because that's not fun. That's not me. That's not real. Okay, I just caught a little fly in my hand. What does that mean? But I set it free. I can't kill you, but it was fun to catch you. Okay, so Pisces season, we enter into the Mercury retrograde. We have this juicy sextile on 2/20/2020, really opening up a new pathway when it comes to the way that we play and make money. Further solidifying that is the new moon in Pisces on February 23rd. Then when we go beyond that, we have the Mercury retrograde shift into Aquarius on March 4th. Now, the day before that happens, we do have something that might test our thinking a little bit. Right before Mercury retrograde shifts into Aquarius, we're going to have a Venus-Saturn square off. Okay, now square off is just like what it sounds. Venus and Saturn are going to have a little bit of a duel. Okay, Venus is going to be in Aries. Aries is all about, like, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do. Saturn's going to be in Capricorn. It's all about rules. and you may be starting to feel a little bit of that tension, a little bit of that buildup. You may be tested, right? Like February, like the rest of February is a month to play and be rebellious. Beginning of March is like, how much are you committed to that? Because what's going to happen is something's going to be thrown at you. You're going to be tested. You're going to be shown a certain situation, and you can surrender to it and fall prey and fall victim. Or you can lean back to it from it and be like, that's not mine to take. That's not mine to carry anymore. And so you have a choice. Are you really willing to start fresh and start anew? Or are you still thinking you have to play by the old rules? Or are you still trying to make them both work? Are you trying to do your own thing while also doing the thing for everybody else? That's going to be tricky. It's going to be really hard. So notice that on 3-3 when that comes up. And then when we shift into Aquarius with the retrograde, a little bit more clarity. And then you get to go from there. Then we have the retrograde until March 9th. And then on March 9th, we have, as the retrograde ends, Virgo full moon. Okay, so the Virgo full moon is really a time where now it's like, okay, you got to play, you got to be a little bit of the rebel, you got to play hooky, you got to kind of let yourself off the hook, you had a little bit of fun. Now it's time to really solidify a plan. Okay, there's no more like, let's see. You know, we're about to enter the new astrological new year. We're about to enter spring if you're on the northern hemisphere. Like, this is like go time, okay? And so this full moon in Virgo is really going to help accelerate you forward. But you have to believe in the acceleration, okay? You have to believe in where it's taking you. Because if you don't, it's going to run out of gas. It's going to start to, slow down. It's only going to be able to take you so far. How far do you want to go, and how much do you believe in that acceleration? How much do you believe in that journey? That's going to be really key with this full moon in Virgo. So if you're ready for it, Virgo's going to tell you, put on your seatbelt because we want you to be safe. And now we're going to put the metal to the pedal. We're going to put our foot on the gas here and freaking go to town. Are you ready for it? You can grip that steering wheel, but tread lightly. That is what this full moon in Virgo has in store for us. So put on your seatbelt, put your location in the GPS, and then be ready for a really wild ride. And be on top of it. And believe in yourself. And when those objections come to be, when those setbacks happen, when you think that maybe you made a mistake, realize that this is all an opportunity to say, no, I only go forward from here. Okay, the full moon in Virgo symbolizes I only go forward from here. I'm going to tell you a little story that happened to me right after the full moon in Leo. I was down in St. Pete, one of my favorite places. The location runs right through my Venus line, so it makes me feel really fun, really in touch with pleasure, sensuality, beauty. I went on a really fun date with a ghost hunter. I mean, we made out to Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack. I mean, come on, Venus line, right? So I was down there for the full moon in Leo, which happened to fall upon my half birthday. So it felt really special to me. And I was visiting this one place that I found. It's right off of the Coffee Pot Bayou. And you can't Google it. It's so strange. It's in the middle of a residential neighborhood. But it says Astrological Temple. And literally, it's just this altar that has all the signs of the Zodiac wheel. And it's fantastic. And I found it a year ago. And of course, when I went back to visit, I had to go and make some time to be there. And so I'm there and I have my experience. And then eventually it's time for me to go back to my Airbnb. And so I get into my car. And as soon as I start driving, I see a grasshopper on the windshield. I was like, oh, hi, little grasshopper. There you are. And I'm like, he's, probably going to fly off and trust that he'll be okay. He stays on the windshield the entire time. Now, not only through getting out of the residence, I mean, there was a time where I was going up to like 45, 50 miles an hour, and this grasshopper stayed on the windshield. And this was about a 10-minute drive. Stays on the windshield until I get back to my Airbnb, still on the windshield. I'm like, okay, grasshopper, what is your medicine? What is your wisdom? What do you have to tell me? So I go to the Google, what is the spiritual meaning? And, the first things that come up are like, good luck, prosperity. And like, that's great. But like, let's I'm in a place now where I'm like, I need more than that. Like, I know that this grasshopper has more to tell me than, you're in a time of good luck and prosperity. Like, I already am in a time of good luck and prosperity. Yes. So I keep searching and I find out that the grasshopper only knows how to leap forward. It cannot go backwards. A grasshopper does not have the physical capacity to move in a backwards motion. Okay? That's wild. And so the grasshopper only can leap forward. And so for me, I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly where I am in my life. I'm in a place where I can't go backwards anymore. I physically cannot go backwards anymore. I can't turn around. I can't jump back. I can only leap forward. And that's the opportunity that I believe that everyone has with this full moon in Virgo on March 9th, at the end of the Mercury retrograde, at the end of our astrological new year, as we jump into spring, as we jump into a new season. What is it that you can only move forward with from here on out, and realize that there is no room for anything behind you? You can only pack a carry-on, no extra baggage, my friend. And it might seem a little exciting, of course, and it might seem a little jolting and jarring, and that's okay. I'm telling you that not everything that is technically good news, like you can only move forward. In your head, you're like, yes, 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 thank you, thank you. It's not to say that it's not going to bring a little bit of nerves or a little bit of uncertainty, because our mind's like, whoa, 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 I don't know about that. Your mind is like, I only know how to operate from what I know, and that's everything that's behind you. So if you go forward, that's unknown to me and I can't help you. And that scares me. And so it will try to resist. It will try to remind you of what's so great around what's behind you. It will try to bring you back to a place where you're like, remember all that good stuff? That's why we romanticize the past. That's why we pull back exes. That's why we think we're okay at our job when we don't actually love it. That's why we do that, because our mind is like, I want to help you. And the only way I know how to help you is to pull from what I already know. However, your soul, your heart, your gut, your intuition, that only knows how to operate off of what lies ahead. So your mind knows everything that's behind you. And your soul, your heart, your intuition only knows what lies ahead. And so now you have a choice. You can let the mind continue to help you and stay where you are, or you can take a leap of faith and you can allow your soul, your heart, your intuition to show you what it knows around what the future has. And the more that you do that, the more that you trust it, the more we start to condition our mind to understand that we don't just need you for what you already know, but you can come play with us up here too. There's a place for you, mind, in the future. There's a place where you will feel needed. There's a place for you to help. But let's just trust our soul for a little bit. Let's just trust our heart. And when I need you, I promise I will call upon you, mind, and we will go from there. And that's how we start to move forward when we're feeling resistant. So important. Other key things to note during this time, we still have a lot of Capricorn energy. Okay, so during this entire Pisces season, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, they're going to be in Capricorn. Okay, and as I mentioned, Capricorn is really about order, structure, career. Is everything in place? Is everything, to my liking? So you're definitely going to be feeling that a lot. And I think it might feel counterintuitive sometimes to move through this time of spaciousness when there's another part of you that's like, well, how can I be spacious if I don't have everything in a row, if I don't have everything in order, if I don't have everything figured out? And that's going to be a dance that we're going to have to play with a little bit. And it's going to, take a little bit of time. And it's definitely a muscle that you're going to have to work a little bit. But I think it's definitely a really great opportunity for you to learn how to function in your everyday life, do what you have to, while making space for what you want to. Big piece. And then Venus, our planet of love, creativity, passion, that'll be in Aries until March 5th. So I really like that the rest of February into early March is with this Aries vibrant, passionate energy. So it's allowing us to focus on what lights us up, What brings us joy? What do we love? Who do we love? Who makes us laugh? Who makes us smile? And who, like, when you see their name on your phone, make you kind of go like, oh, do I have to answer that? Oh, they want to hang out? Oh, I've been putting that person off. Like, let's not during Venus Aries, okay? And then further when Venus moves into Taurus, where it'll be for the rest of March, let's only surround ourselves with people that we feel there is a mutual exchange with, that there is a sense of loyalty, where there is a sense of appreciation, and further, there is growth. And I also want you to see that. I want to see that for you in your career, in your hobbies, with your teachers, your mentors, with the people that you look up to, with the things that you're watching, the things that are on your Instagram. How can they also be an extension of how you feel in a way that makes you feel good? Because there are so many things around us that can bring us down. So in the meantime, build yourself up by surrounding yourself with things that allow you to feel good, expansive, and give and provide a greater perspective on life. And then on March 21st, we kick off spring, Aries season. We end our astrological year and we kick off our astrological new year with Aries. The first day of Aries is the first day of spring, which is the first day of the astrological new year. And for me, that's always my new year. I mean, sorry, January 1st, just a random date, doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me. But the first day of spring, the first sign of the Zodiac, that fresh start, I can be here for that. I can be here for that because I've witnessed winter and what that hibernation has taught me and what the coldness in my bones has given me. And I've recognized the winding down of the Zodiac year with what Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces has brought to me. I feel closer to my God, to my source, to the heavens than ever before. So of course from here, I'm ready for my rebirth. I'm ready for my renewal. And that's what we're leading into. However, before we get to that time, I really want you to think about Pisces season as an energy, as an opportunity, as a catalyst for you to feel more aligned, more resourceful, more of your own best ally, and more of someone that is honoring their heart, their soul, their intuition, and is only looking to go forward from here. We're in a really beautiful time, my friend. And I'm so glad that we're in this together. And I want more people to know what's happening so they feel less in the dark when they're having a moment, when they're having a bad day, when that March 3rd Venus Saturn square off happens and they're like, why do I feel crazy? Why am I having these issues at work? They can say, oh, right, I listened to the forecast with Danielle. I get it. So don't be afraid to share this out with others, as we all need to, quote unquote, get it, All right. Thank you so much. If you want more clarity, I still offer astrology readings. We do have a little bit of a wait list. It might take you about a month to get on the schedule with me, but I would love to unpack your chart with you to look at what the new astrological year has in store for you. My sessions are meant to empower you, light you up, let you feel more expansive, and also more clear and understanding around your blocks, around what may be holding you back, so that you have that deeper sense of awareness to move your life forward. All right, I adore you. You're amazing. Happy Pisces season.